So when the conservation districts began in the 1930s, there was 30 million farmers in America. The last census I found, there was 2 million farmers at that time. So there's a lot less farmers, and it's a lot harder to get our voice out because of that. I think conservation districts are a very good way to get our voice out, especially when we collaborate together, be a voice for landowners, for conservation, and be a more nonpartisan voice in even the political world too.
I was born and raised outside of Center on a potato farm. Conservation has just been part of my upbringing. I'm a board member for Center Conservation District, which is located in Saguache County in the San Luis Valley. We have an older population that is wanting to retire, but there is a small sector of growers that do have their family members coming up. In some cases, 2 to 3 generations on a farm. But what's happening though is the farm is having to become bigger to support all those family members. And so one of the nice things about conservation districts is that they do provide some incentives utilizing some new ideas, whether it's things like cover crops, working towards improving the soil health. As I progress with my career, I think it's really important to involve other people like kids so that we can help move those ideas forward into the next generation.
Wow, I found a bird.
Sort of a tough learning curve, and Mother Nature adds a different level to that as well.
And you know, there's an old adage that you farm for 20 years, you only did it 20 times.
I'm Mindy Perkovich.
And I'm Mike Nolan.
We're at Mountain Roots Produce in Mancos, Colorado.
To be honest, I didn't know about the conservation district until somebody invited me to a meeting. And it's given me the ability to meet and know a lot of really important people in the valley really fast. There's a lot of that knowledge there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like a lot of these folks already know about like what the weather's doing, how the soil types work. It just gives you those connections in that respect. Without them, none of this would be here. Our opportunities wouldn't exist.
There is going to be a reboot for conservation districts on where we have to look now. I'm a 4th generation farmer. We have farmed down here since the early 1900s. I became interested in seeing how we can get conservation districts to survive and be viable in the state of Colorado. Because of conservation districts and where they've taken me, I've been able to speak with legislators, give them aha moments and teach them about agriculture. There's always certain roles that board members will tend towards. As an older board member, sometimes you have institutional knowledge of how a board has functioned or how associations have functioned. You have to have your members that are interested in outreach or to work with programs. And I think there's roles of leadership. We need some fresh thoughts for some fresh minds on where we need to go.
I feel like the Mancos Conservation District has a really functional board. I put that on that we have old guard that's willing to compromise in a transition and younger folks that understand what it takes to participate. So it's really like a meeting in the middle.
Well, a key challenge that I see working with the conservation districts is staying ahead of movements. Basically, if we can integrate new ideas and educate the communities about these new options or possibilities that could help them out, regardless if it's the rancher or the farmer or the classic landowner.
And you know, there's always a problem of funding for districts. That's probably the biggest problem for their survival.
You can't be socially and environmentally, conservationally sustainable on the ground, but then you're constantly in the red. So we've successfully passed a mill levy, and I think what that showed us is that we had a lot of support from the community. As board members, basically we were in an educational role of probably the best opportunity we've had in a long time to explain what the district was.
The reason we still need a lot of the districts and why we need good leadership, because I can't speak for somebody on the West Slope as well as somebody on the West Slope can speak. It's good to be a leader that can go up to the state level and be able to speak for your region and be a voice because you know what's going on.
Everything's just going to be better off the more people we have participating.
So I wonder if there's something there about getting new people involved, is like people just like reaching out and inviting folks to come.
I think the way you get through things that are tough and times, you get people together and talk. Maybe you'll come up with something that is a groundbreaking idea that changes everything.